Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. I realized that Kristen and I were here just a couple days ago, but the Olympics are underway, and that last episode was a little bit on the shorter side, so today we wanted to give you a little bit of our first impressions of both the 5-on-5 team and the 3-on-3 team as we've seen them both take action in Paris. But before we get into that, Kristen, how's it going?
Going okay.
Uh-huh.
Definitely enjoying working from home, watching the Olympics.
It's so good to have it on in the background while you're working.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love this gold zone thing.
Yes.
But I was getting kind of annoyed about it today because, so it was the women's final gold medal, women's team gymnastics.
Gymnastics, yeah. Simone going for gold again.
Yeah. And so that was on half the screen. And the other half was the Japan-France men's basketball game. Mm-hmm. And they, they choose which audio to listen to.
Correct.
So I'm listening to the announcer say, Nico Batum has a bloody mouth, so much blood. And I'm like watching him hold a bloody towel to his teeth. But I'm like trying to watch the gymnastics.
I get it.
Can we stop? I don't want to hear about his bloody mouth.
Well, that was a big game. It was
a
overtime.
I know, it was.
And France almost choked.
But I was like, please, can we end this game so I can just watch gymnastics?
Justice for Rui Hachimura, but I understand. Mm-hmm. But and at the end of the day, when it came down to it and it was time to lock in on Simone, she hit that floor routine. 1 goal. She only needed 8 points or something.
Yeah.
That was really funny. I was like, they were like, here comes Simone to close it out for the U.S. She only needs 8 points. And it's impossible to get only 8 points.
Right. Unless she breaks her leg on the first jump, she'll get 8 points. Right. Yeah. That whole thing was crazy because every event she did, they were when she makes some mistakes here and there. And the announcer's always like, do you think that'll affect them winning gold? And
no.
The other one's like, no. I guess her routines are already so hard to begin with that even if she messes up, it's already harder than the other people. So it doesn't really matter. She's getting a higher score.
Right.
So that's just crazy.
Sure enough, she was ready for it. So congratulations to Simone and Suni and everybody else on the women's gymnastics teams whose names I'm forgetting at this time.
Jordan Childs.
And I can't remember is it 2 more? It's 5 total.
Yeah.
You know them.
Hesley Rivera. She's the young one. And Jade Carey.
Yeah. Oh, right. Jade Carey. Great. 5 winners of gold medals.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. But we're here to talk about women's hoops because we have some women's hoops action to actually discuss. I think I'm going to do this in reverse order because today we watched the first 3-on-3 action. But then we have a 5-on-5 win to talk about. So we're going to talk about that in the later portion of the show. But let's get into it right now. We watched, for both of us, our first 3-on-3 basketball game.
Yeah.
First impressions, what did you think of the format?
It was so fast.
Very fast.
It was over before I feel like before it even started.
Yeah.
It's whoever gets to 21 or 10 minutes.
Right.
And it was done.
It was over. For some reason, I thought it was 2 10-minute halves.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is the half. They'll come back. No. Done. No,
it's over. I don't know if it would be better if it was 2 5-minute halves or 2 7-minute halves. 7s on 7 rugby, women's rugby is 2 7-minute halves. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that would be better for the 3-on-3 game. I know this is the second time it's been in the Olympics, but they do it internationally all the time. Mm-hmm. So this is probably the format every time they play, but it is really quick. 14-second shot clocks.
Yeah.
So shots are going up constantly. A lot of inbound passes to the paint and swarming defense kind of and quick rebounding and kickouts and all that good stuff that we're used to in normal, but it's all on half court.
Right.
So we see our team, our squad, De'Erica Hamby, who we know is replacing Cam Brink. We've got Ryan Howard coming back off of that injury, Haley Van Lith and Sierra Burdick, seeing them for the first time against this German team, who I'm unfamiliar with any of these German ladies.
That's fine.
But if you didn't have a chance to check out the game, the U.S. dropped one.
Yeah, and I thought they played pretty well. They played well together. They
started well.
They started winning, right? But then, like halfway through, around 5 minutes, they like lost the lead and then could never get it back.
Right, and it was tough to see because they come out on this 5-0 run, and I'm like, okay, it's over. They're gonna win like 21-5, or like they're gonna, not let Germany score. They were just like dominating. The perfect passes, wide open looks, easy layups, and it was all like paint stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Germany gets their first basket. It's 5-1, and then Germany hits a 3.
Yeah.
And then Germany ties it with a 3, and the U.S. is tied 5-5, and they can't hit.
Well, it's also not a 3.
Well, sorry, I say 3 because it's behind the arc. It's a 2.
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah, twos and ones.
Yeah.
It's just like, because it's like street ball. It's supposed to be like that. Uh-huh. But, Germany tied it up and then took a lead. And then it was a little bit of a teeter-totter. But then they got a little hot from behind the arc. And it cost the U.S. because they really couldn't hit a shot down the stretch.
They couldn't hit behind the arc.
Mm-hmm. Which is a shame because, De'Aaron can shoot, and that's not going to be her role here. She's going to rebound, and she's going to play in the paint. Mm-hmm. Ryan Howard is a shooter, but Ryan Howard couldn't make a shot.
No.
Haley...
She had at least one. I think we only had one.
I think Haley made the only behind the arc shot, the only 2.
Yeah.
And Sierra Burdick, I really didn't, see much of her game, but that's just because I'm unfamiliar with her. So, I got to focus in on that. But I was talking to our friend Chris, who's our Phoenix Mercury fan, who we had on the show. Go back and listen to our interview with Chris, who's a great guest, on Twitter today. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, Haley Van Lith was mostly a liability on defense because she's so small.
I know.
And the German team they were good size, like a good size. They were all basically the same size, it seemed like. And there were situations for Haley that she just couldn't overcome this difference in size on defense.
What confuses me about her.
Mm-hmm. Why is she on the team?
She seems very
She's good. She's good.
But yeah, long-term success when everyone else is much taller than you. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it's going to go.
I know. And she's had success in this format in the past. The team's good internationally. Their FIBA records are really good. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, the pressure's a little tougher. You're going for a medal. Mm-hmm. You've got a replacement. She's probably used to playing with Cam more than she is with playing with De'Erica, even though they've had a little time to practice together. But I think that the coaching-wise, they just need to shuffle it up a little bit. And the subs are very quick. It's you might play for 50 seconds and then you're out.
Yeah.
And they rotate.
Mm-hmm. I like how they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a cool game to watch. And like you said, very, very fast. I believe tomorrow, we're recording this on Tuesday, the 30th. If I'm not mistaken, I have every game in my calendar. They play 2 games on the first, and they play 2 games on the second.
Oh. So
there are games where they have back-to-backs.
And that's still are we the group? Is this the group round?
Yes. So okay. This is. And I learned this today too. Unlike 5-on-5, which has 3 groups, as we've learned, 3 groups of 4, this is 1 group of 8. 1 group of 8 countries. I'll save the 8 countries because I don't have them off the top of my head. But you play against each of the team in that group. So everybody plays 7 games. And then the 2 best records of the 8 teams automatically qualify for the semifinal round. So they're automatically through. And then the 2 worst record teams are eliminated. Mm-hmm. And then the 4 middle teams play probably 3-6 and 4-5 for that semifinal game against the 2 teams that automatically advance. Mm-hmm. And then you do the semifinal and then the final, and it's over. So it's just 8 teams.
Okay.
So when I realized this, I was like, okay, we can take a loss.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge deal right now.
Right, go win 6 more.
Yeah, it's fine.
It matters when you get to the games where you can be eliminated. Obviously, it sucks to drop one, but if this was the 5-on-5 team dropping a game when they only have to play 3,
yeah, that's a much bigger deal.
That's a bigger deal.
This is not a must-win.
It's a big game. It's not a must-win.
No.
No.
So that's fine.
So it's fine. Let's just go in your other ones, take care of business, learn from what issues you had, and just make more shots. That's it. Yeah, so that's the 3-on-3. We'll check back in on that next time when we're out of the group round. But just in case you're wondering, they play a lot of games, so keep an eye out if you're just flipping through some Olympic news and you just want to catch a couple of games here or there. Now let's talk about the meat and potatoes of this episode. The win of our U.S. women's team against Japan. They win by 26, 102-76. Pretty dominant win against a much smaller Japanese team.
But still, perhaps the second best team, because this was a rematch of the gold medal game from last Olympics, which I did not realize.
Yes.
And they totally dominated them.
Correct.
So
it was a vastly different style of basketball between the two. Nobody taller than 6'1" on Japan. Obviously, BG is 6'9". All of the starters, except for maybe Diana Taurasi, are all taller than all of the Japanese.
Oh, yeah, the starters, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese starters. But Japanese team, they play from behind the arc. They play 5 out. They shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes.
They made a lot of threes.
And for the U.S., take care of business in the paint. That's how we were able to manage. But let's wind it back here. What was our... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just looking at the 3-pointers. They had 15.
They made 15.
Yeah, and we made 4.
4.
Yeah.
But how many did we take?
20.
We really took 20. It doesn't feel like 20.
We're not hitting them.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to.
No, obviously not, but it still wasn't great.
Right. Well, this isn't and you're going to need it in other games.
Yeah.
Because there are other bigger teams.
Yeah, true.
Which we'll talk about after we talk about the game. But I wasn't even surprised by how good they were. They looked awesome. They looked awesome. I know they lost the All-Star game against the other All-Stars who had chips on their shoulders. But we get our starting lineup. I see Nafisa Collier in there. And I'm like, she's the perfect player for this Olympic format. I've thought this. I may have said this before. She's like such an all-arounder that she's so useful. And some of her one-on-one defense that I was seeing early in the game was great. She didn't have a great day offensively. That was there were other players who had better days in the office, but I was very excited to see Nafisa in the starting lineup. Maybe that was a Cheryl Reeve, I know what I have in Fee. I'm going to put her in.
Yeah.
Considering she only played 2 minutes in the All-Star game.
Oh, right. Well, because she was hurt.
Coming off of injury.
Yeah. So it was good that she wasn't, she could play and wasn't hurt now. But I did think it was funny. I mean, we were predicting the starting roster, and then once the game started, we were like, "Oh, BG's not starting. Maybe she won't play so much. We don't need her height in this game. Save her for the next rounds." And then we've been saying this whole time, "Oh, I think Kelsey Plum's not going to get much playing time." We were just wrong on everything.
Well, we were wrong. We were wrong because we overreacted to a single example.
No, we were just thinking about it, and I just feel like we're not in the mind of Cheryl Reeve, clearly.
It's true.
Because, BG was the first one off the bench, and she played a lot of minutes, and then Kelsey Plum played a ton of minutes.
Right.
So
I mentioned I mentioned without saying, the starting roster, or the starting lineup, I should say, was Chelsea Gray as the point guard, DT, Nafisa, Stewie, and Asia. Right, like Kristen said, BG comes one of the first off the bench with Kelsey and Jewel Lloyd. But everybody got to play. Everybody played. Ka played. Sabrina played.
A lot.
J.O. played. So everybody got minutes. Unlike the men's team, where 2 certain players did not get minutes, everybody on the women's team was able to get out there and contribute for the most part.
Yeah.
Chelsea Gray, I think you'll have to fact check me on this, 13 or 14 assists in the game. Just like wonderful passes.
Yeah, 13. Great.
It helps when it's like BG has a foot on the person, you can just throw it up and BG can catch it
above
and
everybody.
Easily put it in. But it was coming so easy for Chelsea. She did not have to play fast. She could play in her speed and just find the open looks and take care of them. And Asia was Asia, the best player in the world, played like the best player in the world. What was her stat line?
Asia had 24 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists.
And 4 blocks, I think. I'm pretty certain that
she had a lot of blocks.
I don't think Japan had a block in the game, I should say.
They might have blocked, maybe this was Wemby, but they might have blocked
Wemby
BG at one point.
Okay.
I just remember
a very tall person being blocked.
Yeah, and I'm like, how?
There was definitely a swat on BG when she drew a foul that looked like it was an attempted block at least. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is good to see, obviously. We want to see this team win another medal because 1 more gold would mean 8 straight, which would give them the longest streak in team sports by any country and consecutive gold medals.
Yeah, incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's
really
awesome.
Cool. Right now, a U.S. men's basketball team from the 1920s and 30s is the record. So it would be very cool to have the women hold it.
I completely agree. So I expect it. I know I said last time that we recorded that, it would be shocking if they lost. This team hasn't lost an Olympic game since 92. So yeah, it would be shocking if they lost a game. They will not lose a game.
That's so much pressure. I couldn't handle it.
But it's been pressure every time, and they just deliver, and they win by 20. They're winning all these games by 25 plus.
Right, against the silver medal team.
Right, against the team that won the silver medal last year, who I don't think is quite on that level, because there are some other teams that are pretty good. So let's look around our group stage at this point and see how everybody fared in their first action, because exciting. We talked about it. Satu Sabli, who's a player that we haven't had the luxury to watch yet because of an injury, is back for the Olympics to play with her sister for Germany. Leonie Fiebisch is there too.
Fun.
And they're playing a ton of minutes. And Germany won their first game against Belgium. So they're one to watch. They're in our group. If you recall, it's the US, Germany, Belgium, and Japan. I would be pretty stunned if it's not the US and Germany coming out of our group. I mean, I guess 8 come out ultimately, so technically Belgium or Japan could also come out as one of those bottom 2. But we'll have to see. France and Nigeria won their first game against Australia and Canada. So that's kind of surprising. I mean, we know that Australia team's loaded with talent.
Yes.
And the Canada team's loaded with talent.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that Australia lost.
Yeah, I mean, Australia lost by 13.
Wow.
Pretty considerable loss to Nigeria, who, I mean, unfortunately, I counted out Nigeria, though I shouldn't have, considering how good they are in Afrobasket. But you just kind of assume when you see this Australia team with all this talent that they're going to come through with a win. And Canada lost by 21 to France. I mean, France is is good, and they're the home team. But, like, Canada, what's Bridget Carleton up to? I didn't have a chance to check out this game.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I didn't watch any of these games.
But then looking at Group A, Serbia and Spain won their first game against China and Puerto Rico.
And Megan Gustafson went off for Spain.
And they needed every one of those because Spain only ended up winning by a point.
Oh, yeah, well, good for them.
Against the China team that I believe is like silver medal contender. So, I mean, that's a high-scoring game, 90-89 in 40 minutes of Olympic hoops. I mean,
yeah, we had 102 and, like, didn't hit any threes.
Right. But I think it's very likely that Spain and China are the two best teams in that group because Serbia and Puerto Rico was only 58-55. It's a low-scoring game. Yeah. I would expect China to come back and, blow the doors off of whoever they play, whether it's Puerto Rico next or Serbia next.
Okay.
Let's check in on that. That Nigeria game real quick. Did our girl Nicole...
Did she even play?
Our girl, Nicole, go Hens, did play 13 minutes.
Oh, good.
She had 4 points and 1 rebound on 1 of 2 shots.
Oh, good.
So, Nicole is playing.
Yay.
Okay. We gotta put that in the calendar. We gotta make sure that we're locking in on these Nigeria games because we gotta support our girl, especially because we weren't expecting a win, and now turns out, hey, they might have a shot here to get out of this group, and I don't know if they can do damage in the quarterfinal, but stranger things have happened. Mm-hmm. So it's like I said, it's been an exciting start to the Olympics. There's good basketball going on. Our team, dominant as expected.
What else have you enjoyed watching?
What other Olympic sport? I've had
your top one.
My top Olympic sport. I've actually, to answer your question, skateboarding. I enjoyed watching skateboarding the last couple days. Mm-hmm. I know that if anybody's watched skateboarding, they miss their tricks a lot. Yeah. But when they land them, it's so cool, man.
Like, they only have to land 2, really, of their tricks, and then they win.
They literally have to land, like, 3 tricks. Yeah. And it's like...
Nice. Ta-da! No, it is very cool.
Yeah. Japan crushed. They won both golds. Like, they won the gold and the silver in the women's. Uh-huh. They're awesome. But yeah, I don't know, something about it. Like, I know it's also a new sport. Mm-hmm. It's new to, not new, but it started in Tokyo.
Yeah, newer.
So it's like this exciting new thing, newer, fresher thing to watch. And I don't know what it is. I guess I liked watching the X Games growing up. Even though I wouldn't really watch the summer X Games, I was more of a winter X Games guy. Okay. So, like, that's why I love, like, half pipe and, like, big jump in the Winter Olympics. But for some reason, this Summer Olympics, like, everything's been so great to me. Like, I've enjoyed watching everything, even watching fencing when we're both like, what the heck? How does fencing work?
Yeah, I know. No, I've really liked watching surfing. Yeah. And, like, I'm not really keeping up with the surfers or, the tournament of it all.
Yeah, like, who's on top?
Yeah, I don't know. But
just like watching, it's like it's like kind of a vibes.
It's watch. Vibes. It just like feels like summer to me. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm. You get to see like, and if you haven't checked out surfing, the waves in Tahiti are insane. It's like gorgeous.
Crazy. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I've never tried to surf.
I would never try to surf.
I would try.
No.
Why? I would.
Boogie board.
I would try. And I think I, like, could do it. I have balance, obviously. I'm not going to be, like, so good. But I feel like I could do it. Uh-huh. But it is crazy when they, like, when you don't see them in the wave, then they come out, and you're like, how'd they stay in there? Yeah. It's crazy.
Or, like, when they intentionally, like, kind of yeet off the top of the wave. Yeah. And they're, like, I forget who, I think it was, like a Spanish guy who, like, took this amazing picture where it looks like he's just levitating straight up and his board is straight up next to him. Mm-hmm. It's cool. That's a cool sport.
Yeah, it's cool.
And also one of the newer ones. Mm-hmm. And it's just weird that they're in Tahiti because this is the Paris Olympics and we're also in Tahiti.
You have to be somewhere.
You got to be somewhere where you can
surf.
Shred the gnar.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's only like the 4th day of the Olympics. I've watched more Olympics in these 4 days than all of the last Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
I feel like
I would agree with that.
I'm like insanely locked in. And I know we mentioned the gold zone, but like it is so easy to just get lost in the random stuff. And you got your swimmings and your gymnastics, but you get like a team volleyball game. You get rugby.
Yeah, I've never watched rugby. I watched the rugby today because it was on that gold zone.
Yeah, U.S. medaling for the first time in 100 years in rugby.
Crazy.
That's
Good
crazy.
For them.
Good for them.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's been great. There's like cool pictures of there's like this, I believe she's a South Korean woman who set a world record in 25 millimeter pistol, and everyone's like, she's a main character. She has main character energy.
Okay.
But it was like so sick. I was like normally not into this type of thing, but seeing like, oh, you hit the bullseye on the target. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah.
Yeah, we just wanted to check in, send our first reactions to these first basketball games. Stay tuned with us for the rest of them throughout this next week. It's looking good for the women's. The men, they still won.
Yeah, by 26, just like the women.
Yeah, true. So that was fine too. So it's looking good.
It is looking good. It is looking good. The hoops is good. The 3-on-3 team, they'll get back on it. They'll figure it out. We should be back. We're going away. We recorded this in sort of 2 segments, like the pre-Olympics and then the first impression pod, because we're going to be away at the beach for a couple days. So we wanted to make sure that you got that, what happened, in case you missed it. So hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're enjoying the Olympics, enjoying the pod, enjoying women's basketball. But like Kristen said, we'll be back after the group stage to see how our ladies are doing. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can do so. Send us an email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com, or follow us on Twitter, @ATBpod_. We're there. We're tweeting about the games. We're live tweeting the games. If you want to see our impressions, see some hot clips that are going around. Kelsey Plum throwing up deuces to the camera and memeing. We got all that for you. So go follow us on Twitter. Get all that live reaction. But Kristen, I'm looking at the baseline. What are we going to do?
Attack it.
That's right. Attack the baseline. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back soon with more Olympic coverage. But until then, ta-ta for now.